Here, I'm just gonna keep some pressure on him, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, she took quite a few, about 4 or 5 rounds for the face.
How many, is just she the only victim?
She's the only victim. She's only
They worked quickly, checking for an ID, searching her purse.
See if I can find an ID in her purse. Yeah. I don't know how you want to do this. You want to put the seat back so we can get to her?
One of them called out, trying to get a response. Nothing.
What's your name? Can you tell me your name?
I'll get over this.
She was the only one in the car. No passengers, no witnesses inside. Just her, barely hanging on. They tried adjusting the seat to reach her better, fumbling with the controls. Every second counted.
Hey, Scott, hold that seat.
It's not going.
Is there anything behind the seat?
No.
Call electric. Hang on, I got it.
But the truth was already sinking in. This wasn't just another traffic stop gone wrong. This was a hit, and whoever pulled the trigger was long gone. An officer stepped around to the back of the SUV. Glass crunched under his boots, the rear window was blown out. The front of the car was no different. Bullet holes tore through the glass. He counted them, one by one.
I counted 8 shots.
8?
Yeah, there's one right above the left windshield wiper. So that's 2 out of, like right there.
License plate, that's probably hers.
That's the same one as on the back.
Okay, that's probably hers.
8 shots, just in the windshield alone. Another officer searched the purse again. Nothing. No ID, no wallet, just an empty bag. Whoever she was, they had no name yet. Another officer called out for gloves.
Hey, you got gloves? Nitrile gloves?
I got one.
There's just one here, pick it up, and there's one over here, pick it up.
Are you
February
okay?
17th, 2021, 10:45 p.m. A white Range Rover sits at a red light in Denver, Colorado. Inside, a 32-year-old mother named Pamela is heading home after dinner with a friend. In a few seconds, her 6-year-old son will lose his mother forever. A Honda pulls up behind her. Then, tap. A minor fender bender. The Honda's door swings open. A hooded figure steps out. In his hands, a gun. No warning, no words, just gunfire. 15 rounds tear through the night, maybe 20. Glass explodes, metal shreds. The Range Rover becomes a death trap. But the shooter isn't done. He climbs back into the Honda, leans out the window, and fires 2 more shots before disappearing into the darkness. Inside the Range Rover, Pamela slumps over, bleeding from multiple gunshot wounds, alone, barely breathing, dying. Welcome to Chilling True Crime. I'm your host, and what you're about to hear will shake you. A 14-year-old boy, a gang initiation, and a mother who paid the ultimate price. Before we go any further, hit subscribe and turn on notifications because this case gets darker with every minute. Witnesses at the scene couldn't believe what they'd just seen. Jaden was a few cars back when the shooting started. At first, she thought it was fireworks. Then she saw cars speeding away. That's when she knew someone was shooting. She ducked low, praying a stray bullet wouldn't find her. When she finally looked up, the Honda was gone. The Range Rover motionless, windows shattered, glass everywhere. Alex Martinez saw it too. He was heading home when flashes of light cut through the darkness. Not streetlights, gunfire. He caught a glimpse of the shooter, short, maybe 5'6", hoodie up, face hidden. 6 flashes, 6 shots lighting up the night. Then the shooter vanished. But this was just the beginning, because within 24 hours, police would arrest 3 teenagers, and one of them would reveal a truth so disturbing it would break a mother's heart.
Paramedics arrived at the scene within minutes. What they found was horrific. Pamela Cabriales sat slumped in the driver's seat, shot multiple times, including in the face. Officers cut her seatbelt and pressed down on her wounds, desperately trying to save her life. "Ma'am, stay with me," Officer Lear said. But Pamela couldn't respond. They searched for identification. Nothing, just an empty purse. Finally, they found her name on a document in the car. Pamela Cabriales, 32 years old. An officer walked around the vehicle, counting bullet holes. 8 shots, just in the windshield alone. This wasn't road rage, this was an execution. Pamela was a real estate agent, a hardworking single mother. No gang ties, no criminal record, no enemies. She was simply driving home after dinner with a friend. She fought for her life in the hospital for days, but the damage was too severe. She died, leaving behind her 6-year-old son Leo, who would never see his mother again. The question everyone was asking, who could do this, and why? The next day, a Denver police officer spotted a Honda connected to a different shooting, a gang-related incident at a McDonald's. When officers tried to pull it over, the car took off. A high-speed chase erupted through the streets. The Honda swerved, hit a pothole, and crashed. 3 teenagers jumped out and ran. Surveillance cameras captured 2 of them sprinting down a sidewalk before suddenly reversing direction. They were trapped, scared, running out of options. They hid in a nearby shed, but police dogs were already on their trail. Within minutes, all 3 were in custody. When officers searched the shed, they found something chilling. Shell casings, the same caliber used to kill Pamela Cabriales. Now, detectives had 3 suspects, 3 teenagers, and the truth was about to come out in the most shocking way possible.
Inside the police station, 3 teenagers sat in separate interrogation rooms. 3 different stories, but only one truth. The first suspect was 14-year-old Remy Cordova. Because of his age, his mother had to be present. She sat beside him as a detective read him his rights. Imagine being that mother. Your child is being questioned for murder. How do you process that? The detective left the room to give them privacy. When he returned, Remy's mother had made her decision. They weren't talking. She signed the refusal form. Interview over, but detectives already knew who Remy was. His name was in their system. A known gang associate, a kid trying to prove himself. The second suspect was 18-year-old Nishan Johnson, the driver, and he was willing to talk. "Walk me through your night," the detective said. Johnson claimed he'd been at his aunt's house. A friend picked him up around 11 p.m., but his story started falling apart immediately. "Who else was in the car?" the detective pressed. Johnson hesitated. "There was a guy in the back seat. I didn't really know him." "Why did you run from the police?" "I don't have a license. That's the only reason." But the detective wasn't buying it. He kept pushing. "What about weapons? What about the shooting?" Johnson insisted he didn't know anything. They didn't tell him. He was just the driver. Then the detective dropped the bombshell. "The shell casings we found in the shed where you were hiding, they match the ones at the murder scene. Explain that." Johnson's face went pale. His entire story was collapsing. I don't know," he stammered. "You don't know isn't going to cut it," the detective said. "This is a homicide investigation. A mother is dead. You've got 2 kids at home. Do you want to see them grow up, or do you want them visiting you in prison?" The room went silent. Johnson was trapped, and the truth was finally about to come out. The third suspect was brought in, a teenage passenger, and what he told detectives would change everything. Unlike the others, he didn't hide. He didn't deny. He came clean. "We were stopped at a red light," he began. "A car bumped us from behind, just a little tap." The detective leaned forward. "Then what happened?" Remy asked the driver if he could shoot at the car, and the driver, he said yes. The room went silent. "Remy got out with an AR-15, the teenager continued. "I was in the back seat. I started yelling at him to get back in the car, but he just kept shooting, over and over." The detective asked a critical question. "How many shots?" "At least 7 rounds, maybe more." This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't self-defense. This was a 14-year-old with an AR-15 executing a complete stranger at a red light. "Why?" the detective asked. "Why did he do it?" The teenager shook his head. He said he was aiming for the engine, but that's not what happened.
For y'all, and I understand completely, I'm terribly sorry for the pain that you guys feel. But I cannot take responsibility for something that I did not do.
Prosecutors would later reveal the real motive. Remy Cordova was trying to climb the ranks in his gang. He wanted to prove himself, make a name, earn respect. And Pamela Cabriales became his target. A mother, a real estate agent, someone's daughter, someone's friend, Leo's entire world. She was murdered for a gang initiation. When the detective stepped out of the interrogation room, the teenager's parents were waiting. They were devastated. "Do you understand what you've done?" his stepfather said. "Someone died. This isn't a game. This is real. You were in a car with someone who killed a mother." The teenager broke down, but it was too late. The damage was done. Remy Cordova's case was moved to adult court. At just 14 years old, he was charged with first-degree murder.
And his mother? She had to sit in that courtroom and watch her son face a murder trial. The nightmare was just beginning.
November 2023, the courtroom was packed. Pamela's family sat on one side. On the other, Remy Cordova, now 16 years old, sat beside his attorney. Before sentencing, Remy was given a chance to speak. He stood up and faced Pamela's family. "I want you to know I feel for you," he said. "I understand your pain, and I'm sorry, but I cannot take responsibility for something I did not do." Even after being found guilty, he denied it. The judge didn't hesitate. Remy Cordova was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 40 years. At just 16, his childhood was over. Nishan Johnson, the driver, was sentenced to 35 years for second-degree murder and vehicular eluding. He enabled the murder. He let it happen. As for the third teenager, he wasn't charged in connection with Pamela's death, but he'll carry the weight of that night for the rest of his life. Pamela's family refuses to let her memory fade. Her son Leo, now older, has to live with a reality no child should face. His mother was stolen from him by a teenager trying to impress a gang. A GoFundMe for Leo's college fund raised nearly $70,000. Strangers from across the country donated because Pamela's story touched them, because her death mattered. But here's the tragedy that haunts me most. Remy's mother sat in that interrogation room and watched her 14-year-old son refuse to speak. Did she know what he'd done? Was she protecting him? Or was she in complete shock, unable to believe her child could commit murder? We'll never know, but one thing is certain. Two mothers lost everything that night. Pamela lost her life, and Remy's mother lost her son to a prison cell. Some choices can't be undone. A gun, a gang, a senseless murder, and now two families destroyed forever. If this case impacted you, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to Chilling True Crime, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. Should a 14-year-old be sentenced to life in prison? Let me know. Until next time, stay safe out there, and remember, every victim has a story. Every story deserves to be told.